Okay, the Springbok team to face Australia this coming weekend. I'm going to start the announcement from number 1 to 15 and then the bench after that. So number 1 is Steven, number 2 is Bongi, number 3 is France, number 4 is Eben, number 5 is Luit, number 6 is Sia, number 7 is Franco, number 8 Duane, number 9 Faf, 10 Andre, 11 Makazole, 12 Damien, 13 Lucanio, 14 Cebu, 15 Willie, then the bench 16 Malcolm, 17 Ox, 18 Vincent, 19 Marco, 20 Quagga, 21 Jasper, 22 Herschel, and 23 Damien Willemsen.
A few minutes ago before we have the press conference, so I'm not too sure myself.
Thank you very much.
As the chairman for Cambodia.
Carl Fabian, if you can please just switch your mic on mute, please.
Major surprise today.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gents, just please, if you can kindly switch your mics off so that we're not interrupted. And obviously we're sending out this video footage also so that we don't get interrupted. Right, let's get it on the way. Let's open the floor to some questions. At this moment, I see there's no indication of hands, which is quite strange. Jacques, let me kick off by asking you about your impressions of the week's training so far, and obviously the plans leading up to this important test match against Australia on Sunday.
Yeah, right. No, obviously we, if I can almost take it back since we left South Africa, we were off the week after the last Argentina test match. Just purely we were probably 7-8 weeks on a trot in international rugby. So the first week we were off, and then when we moved to Brisbane in the 2 weeks that we were in quarantine, our first week, we had a booster week, if I can put it like that, almost a little bit of a conditioning week to top up our conditioning, and also work from a rugby point of view, work on our own things again, our own systems, because we weren't preparing specifically for a test match on the weekend. And then this last week, or this week now leading up to the Australian test match, we are full on in preparation for Australia. So now the preparation has been good up to now.
Excellent, thank you, Jacques. We go to Heinz Schenk. Hello, Heinz.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for your time. I suppose this is actually a question for both of you, please. Firstly, I wanted to ask Jacques, I'm not sure if people are perhaps reading too much into this issue, but have you guys been doing anything specifically related to playing in front of a crowd again? You know, are there some tweaks that you guys have to do in terms of on-field communication? You know, just given that the majority of the guys simply haven't played, you know, in front of noise almost, you know, for the past, almost like year. And so, and even yourself, I'm not sure how many times you've played in front of crowds again, you know, previously with Toulon, you know, in the past time. So is the crowd going to be a challenge, or is it something you guys just like taking your stride and embrace again?
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting to play in front of the crowd again. I think especially the guys from Africa, they haven't played in front of crowds for quite a long time. Us in France, yeah, we at the end of the top 40, we had a little bit of a crowd. So, I mean, it's always nice, the atmosphere. Obviously, the comms on the field will not be as clear as it was the last couple of weeks against the Lions and against Argentina. But I mean, it's going to be, we're all speaking about, it's going to be great to play in front of the crowd, just get that buzz from the whole stadium, and yeah, we're just excited for the test match.
Yeah, from my side, no, we spoke about it obviously in terms of the leading up to the test match, and I can just reiterate what Eben said. I think as a rugby player, I think you want to perform in front of people, and it's funny. I said it now for someone that, listen, when crowds got taken away, we said, yes, it's going to be weird without crowds. And now that crowds are coming back, yes, it's going to be weird with crowds. So yes, no, we didn't do anything specific. We spoke about it, and like Evan said, I think communication will be a little bit more difficult. I think your microcomms between players will have to increase where let's say, for instance, I wanted to communicate to somebody something that's next to Evan in the defense line, for instance. I'll probably have to go through Evan to get to him now with a crowd, where in the last couple of test matches without crowds, I could just say it out loud and everybody could hear it. So I think that will be something that we will have to adapt to.
Thank you, Jacques and Evan. Right, we say hi to Leighton Koopman.
Hi, Jacques. Hi, Evan. Jacques, just for you, please. How satisfied are you with Duane's progress? He's returned to the starting lineup. The minutes you're looking to give him, and also just a word on the other injured players that are returning, like Faf starting as well, and then Herschel on the bench too.
No, listen, with Duane, yeah, he's been part of us for our trainings. I think his first week was the week leading up to the last British and Irish Lions test. So he did that week with us, limited training, obviously managing his load, and almost completing his return to play protocol or return to play program. And then the week off, obviously did some work with the physios and the medical staff then. And then the last 2 weeks now with us. So now he's on track in terms of where we thought he would be returning back into rugby, or not return to play, return to rugby. And like anybody, I think it will take some time, to get used to the pace, and it takes a couple of matches for you to get used to the pace of the game, of international rugby again. That's what I think. But in saying that, Duane has been part of the Springboks for over 50 tests. So he's an experienced player. He's been there before. He almost knows the shortcuts to things on the field. So no, happy with where we are, exactly where we thought he would be now. Yeah, I can't wait for him to get back on the field. I think he also can't wait. Last time he played international rugby was in the World Cup final. So, yeah, looking forward to him. And obviously, we've got a plan that we will discuss closer to the come game day in terms of what we think our substitutions will go. But, I mean, you can plan as much as you want. Things happen in a match, and then we will have to adapt to that. So to say what minutes, how many minutes, it will depend on how the game unfolds on the day. And then on the other injured guys, yes, obviously Faf is back and Herschel is back. Yeah, we were aiming for this game for both of them to try and get them back. That was the original return to play dates. So yeah, no, they happy to get the quality of players like that back. And the other guys, the injuries, the only injured player we currently have is Chesnut, who's not eligible for the Springboks. The others are all back onto the field and training full out with the team. So we're very fortunate in that regard, is that it's only Chesnut currently.
Thank you, Jacques. Right, Ken Boland, good evening from Brisbane.
Evening round, thanks very much. Evening, Jacques and Evan. Jacques, talking of pace of the game, on the bench you've got 3 loose forwards. Is that an indication of how you expect Australia to really try and speed up the game? Is that going to be the big difference, say, in this game as compared to the other tests you've played recently?
No, I think if you just look at how Australia play in all the test matches, I think that they're a team that play with pace and tempo and massive continuity and stuff like that, and have an awesome skill set in terms of having the capability of stretching you from touchline to touchline. So yes, and that was the reason. Also, I know it looks weird having 3 loose forwards on the bench. But you must remember that one of our locks are playing loose forward for us in the starting lineup in terms of Franco. So yes, so it looks weird. Why would you have 3 loose forwards on the bench? But we've got starting 3 locks, if you can put it like that. So yeah, no, but definitely 100% right. I think it's going to be a quick, high tempo game.
Right, thank you, Jacques. Tinus van Staden, you're up next.
How's it, Jelle? Just a question for Eben. You guys are playing with, I think it's almost the most line-out options all year. As a line-out forward, does that really make a big difference if you have so many options? And is that one area that you guys would like to target the Aussies?
Yeah, I think our callers, which is Loet and Franco, they figure all the plans out during the week. When they tell me to jump, I just jump. But no, it's obviously great to have lots of options. Even you can put Sia in there also, who's a great jumping option. So I think it's always nice to fall back onto that for the line-out callers to know there's always an option open or a guy that can jump in position if they need them.
Thank you. Liam.com.
Hi, good evening, guys. My question is for Jacques. To what extent can one compare this Springbok team to the one that played Australia the last time they played in Australia? I'm not referring here to necessarily the personnel, but in terms of your development as a team. Can one compare the two sides?
Yes. No. I think. Let me not think. Let me be factual. That was our 5th game since we came back, myself and Rassie, and started working with this group. We had the 3 test matches against England, and then we had a 6th game, and the 2 test matches against Australia, and that was the 6th test match. So obviously, I think from then a lot of things we implemented a new defense system in 2018, so players had to get used to that playing style. We were finding our feet in terms of that, and so no, I think it's a lot more settled and aligned team currently, a squad, and we've been together now for, yes, I don't know how many test matches, but we've been together for quite a couple of them. So I think just what's the difference? I think we're just a lot more aligned, and we were fortunate that after 2019 we only lost 3 players, and so there's good continuity, and there's been a couple of injuries in terms of Adrian not being with us and Cheslin not in the mix. But Cebu was with us up to the end of 2019, so there's good continuity. So good alignment, I would say, is the difference between 2018 and now.
Thanks.
Thank you. Now we are going to give a portion of the questions to some of the Australian media on the call, and we say good evening to Jim Tucker first of all.
Thanks, Ryan. Good evening, Jacques and Eben. A question to you, Eben. This Springbok team has won a World Cup and has beaten the Lions in a series. It'd be easy to say already that you're one of the great Springbok teams. How relentless is the feeling amongst the group that you just want to sustain this golden period?
Sorry, Jim. Yeah. Sorry, Jim. We had an internal announcement. Okay. I think. Yeah, if you can just start over again.
Eben, with this team's won the World Cup and now beaten the Lions, it's easy to say already that you're one of the great Springbok teams with the same personnel. How important is it to stay relentless and feel and maximise this golden period for the Boks?
Yeah, I think we always obviously we have a good coaching structure, some of the great players. So I think we're always going to strive to get better. Obviously, I mean, winning a World Cup is great, and winning a British Irish Lions, which probably comes around once in your career, is obviously also great. I mean, there's more things to strive towards. Obviously, the next aim is to have a good game this coming weekend. So I think our focus will not be in the past, what we achieved or what we can still achieve in the future. I think great teams, when they're in the moment, they don't think about that. In 10 or 20 years, we can decide if we were a great team or not. But for now, it's a Wednesday before Test match. We have 1 or 2 more sessions left to be prepared at our best for the coming game, and I think that's what the guys are thinking of. That's what the coaches are thinking of, all the players, and yeah, I think that's our mindset, focusing on this coming game is something against Australia.
Just as a follow-up question, can I ask, and this is because we haven't seen you for 2 years, out of all those wonderful World Cup moments in celebration back in South Africa or even in Japan, what was the thing that warmed your heart the most in terms of a moment in the celebrations of winning the World Cup?
Yeah, I think for me, probably when I walked onto after I got my medal and walked onto the stage, and I somehow in my island was my family, and I just saw them, and yeah, it was just probably one of the greatest moments of my life. Looking at them and having this gold medal around my neck with these people you've spent the last 9-10 weeks with, you worked extremely hard, and then actually achieving what you wanted to achieve. So I think that for me was special. And then obviously coming back to South Africa, going on the trophy tour, and just going into places and seeing people all over the world from all different cultures just supporting the box. And I mean, for that, let's say 20-30 seconds we drive past them, you can just see the happiness in their hearts when we drive past them. So I mean, that was just a great experience for all of us, and something we'll remember forever.
Thanks, Evan. That's a great memory. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Jim. And we now say hi to Christy Doran.
Hello, good evening. This is a question for both of you. From the beginning, Jacques, you've been with Rassie. What's the difference when he's not on tour? Because I imagine it's a little bit different when he's on the other side of the world in South Africa. So how does that impact on the team? And that's for both you and Eben. Thank you.
Yeah, from my side, yeah, obviously, I had a conversation 10-15 minutes ago. I think the key thing between myself and Rassie on a personal level, and then I'll talk about the team, is that we operate a little bit differently than the normal director of rugby head coach. Even when he was head coach, I was assistant coach. You know, we operate a little bit differently, and the best way to almost describe that is that we're probably not confined by our job titles. You know, being director of rugby almost puts you in a box and you operate in that scope. But I don't think we don't work like that. Rassie, we know between the two of us, and between myself and the team understands that I've got certain responsibilities and Rassie's got certain responsibilities. But in all my responsibilities, he gives input, but not only him, the other coaching staff and management staff as well, and vice versa with Rassie. He will have certain aspects that he's responsible for, but I would give input there, you know. And so in that sense, it sounds weird, but our life is going on between myself and him as per normal, between his engagement with our team as per normal. I mean, I think the one positive about COVID is that technology has made the world small. You know, you can be inside somebody else's living room within 10 seconds. So we go through the same weekly program and structure that we would have done if he was here, and hats off to him in terms of almost flipping his day and night around to fit in with our schedule. So no, for us, between myself and him, and between the team won't necessarily know that, and they do sometimes. He will sit into our team meetings when we are having the team meeting. Obviously, he's not on the pitch, but he will be part of us during the day where he can join us. So yeah, I think for me, literally sitting here, for me it's business as usual in terms of our working relationship.
It must be It must be a little bit different though. Like, is this the first time he won't be in the change rooms at halftime or before the game or post the match?
No, he wasn't with us the week before the first Argentinian test. In some, let's say before the second test before the British and Irish Lions. There were certain days that he won't go with us to the team. Like I say, let's say he's got director of rugby stuff that he has to adhere to. Sometimes he won't go with us to training sessions. He won't travel with us in the bus to the test match on the day of the test match. He'll come a little bit later because he's got some stuff that he has to, that he's responsible for from a director of rugby point of view. So no, he hasn't been with us. He's been with us the majority of the time. But there has been aspects where he hasn't been part or hasn't been with us for periods. That test match against Argentina, if I think back, I don't think he was there the whole week and in the game. But he was with us virtual, through online. So no, it won't be the first time. Will be the first time that he's not with us on tour. But since 2018 that we've been traveling together. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. And Percival Young, you've been waiting patiently. Hello, Percy.
Good evening, Ryan. Good evening, coach. Good evening, Eben. Ek gaan natuurlik in Afrikaans begin, coach. Net kortliks. Ek vra gewoonlik net 'n samevatting van wat jou denkwyse agter die span was, veral met die terugkeer van som van jou meer ervare spelers. Coach, kan ek net vra, tweede deel van my vraag is, hoe bestuur julle die werkslading van sekere spelers? Ek verwys spesifiek na 'n speler soos Kolbe wat nou nie beskikbaar is weens besering. En kan ek vir Eben spesifiek Afrikaans vra waaraan?
Ja, laat die coach eers die vraag antwoord, Percy, en dan gee jy geleentheid om aan Eben jou vraag te stel.
Ek sê vir dankie.
Ja, Percy, in terme van die spankeuse, ja, weet jy, ons het 'n paar ervare spelers wat beseer was tot nou toe, wat van hulle besering herstel het. So die veranderinge wat gemaak is spelers wat maar van besering af teruggekeer het en ja, dit is die verandering, dis in terme van die span. Jou vraag oor hoe bestuur ons die werkslading van spelers? Nie net Chesley nie, almal van hulle is maar deur die analise wat ons doen in die oefeninge, jy weet, ons kyk na daar's verskeie goed wat die performance staff na kyk en vir ons terugvoer gee na elke oefening. En baie keer val ons bietjie kort as afrigters waar ons nie die nodige intensiteit bereik het wat van hulle verwag word nie, en dan word ons bietjie oor die vingers getik en baie keer het ons bietjie oorskry en dan moet ons bietjie terugtrek deur die week. So dis so kan ek maar sê dis so gebalanseerde storie, jy weet. Ons probeer die spelers nie te hard druk op dag 1 nie, want dan kan ons minder uit hulle uitkry dag 2. So dis 'n hele balancing act, as ek dit so kan sê. Maar dit word bestuur deur Andy Edwards, wat hoof is van athletic performance. En dan ook kry ons input van die mediese departement af. So as daar miskien geel vlaggies is oor spelers, dan sal ons maar net, dit word aan ons meegedeel die oggend, en wanneer ons oefeninge uitsit en vir hulle sê hoe ons rugbyprogram gaan lyk vir die dag, dan sal daar input wees. Luister, ons dink daai ou kan daar deelneem, nee, hy kan nie daar deelneem nie. Ons het lewendige GPS en die spelers word gemeet soos hulle oefen. So as spelers naby aan hulle limite kom, dan en ons glo dit en ons voel dit gaan nie die rugbyprogram affekteer nie, want op die einde van die dag bly dit die heel belangrikste is dat die speler moet confident wees in die oefening wat hy deur die week gekry het om te kan gaan perform Saterdag. So as ons voel, luister, die speler het sy limiet bereik en hy is tevrede met waar hy is en ons is tevrede met waar hy is, dan ruil ons maar net 'n ander speler in sy plek.
Dankie, Jacques. Percy, jou tweede vraag?
Baie dankie Ryan. Eben, goeienaand daai kan. Eben, kan ek jou vra, is een van die meer ervare senior spelers in die groep. As ek en my vriende om op braai sit Percival Young, dan besluit ons met 'n koue enetjie in ons hand dat Australië gaan deur 'n baie moeilike tyd op die oomblik. Kan die Springbokke bekostig om die Wallabies af te skryf? En die tweede deel van my vraag is dit, hoe voel dit vir jou as een van die senior spelers om ervare spelers soos Duane en Faf hulle terug in die groep te hê?
Hallo Percy. Ja, ek dink die eerste vraag oor Australië. Ek dink ons het 'n gesprek daaroor gehad in die week. As ons kyk na die laaste paar jaar se resultate, dan wys dit vir jou dadelik is 'n span wat jy nie kan afskryf nie. Ek dink hulle is enige wat jy toets speel gaan altyd daar wees en Australië was die afgelope in die professionele era is hulle altyd een van die topspanne. So ons gaan op ons beste prepare vir hulle en ons weet dit gaan natuurlik 'n moeilike toets wees en eenmaal vir ons gaan reg moet wees en dan natuurlik om ouens soos Duane en Faf terug te hê. Dit lig obviously die span. Is leiers in die span en is great om is meer stemme deur die week en dan op game dag ook ouens met daai experience wat die ouens net lekker kalm om hulle.
Dankie Percy, ek neem aan dis wat die vraag wat jy wou vra in Afrikaans. Right, we're going to give one more question in English and then we will conclude this session and then we will have two more players, Lucanio and Faf. And Adnan Mohammed, good evening.
Good evening, Ryan. Will I be allowed to ask in Afrikaans or must I ask in English?
You can ask in Afrikaans, it's fine.
Ek wil net vir Jacques gevra dat ons weet wat Cheslin en Sebo en Kosi bring na die tafel met in verband met hulle vaardigheidsvlakke en as spelers. Hoeveel gaan Cheslin gemis word en wat kry ons met Sebo wat terug is in die span?
Nee, ek dink al ons spelers, jy weet, of dit nou tussen Sebo en tussen Cheslin is, elkeen van hulle het hulle eie, kan ek maar sê, hulle eie circus trick wat hulle na die span toe moet bring, hulle eie individualiteit, hulle eie personality, hulle eie energie en dit verskil van ou tot ou. En yes, jy verloor obviously in een speler verloor jy dit wat hy na die span toe bring, maar jy kry weer wat die ander speler na die span toe bring, jy weet, so ek dink, dis maar iets, ons is as 'n span, dink ek, is ons nogal bevoorreg in terme van, daar's min te kies en te keer tussen ons spelers, jy weet, ons is baie bevoorreg daar, in terme van diepte, jy kan 'n Damien Dalende verloor, en jy kan 'n Frans Steyn daarin sit, jy weet, en jy verloor 50 ou wat 50 toetse gespeel het, maar jy kry 'n ou wat 67 toetse gespeel het, 2 World Cups gewen het en 2 Britse en Ierse Leeu's titels gewen het. So jy kry weer dit by Frans. So ek dink ons is bevoorreg daar. Obviously almal weet wat Cheslin kan doen in terme van sy spesiale vaardighede wat hy bring, maar ek bedoel Sebo weer hy het 'n paar fantastiese 3 al gedruk. Ek nogal gekyk nou die dag. Ek dink Sebo het 12 toetse gespeel en 8 3 gedruk, jy weet. 'n Ou praat van Mapimpi wat 18 toetse of 16 toetse gespeel het, 14 3 gedruk het. Sebo self 'n 3 vraat in terme van as hy die geleentheid kry dan hy weet waar sy doellyn. So ja, ek's baie opgewonde om Sebo te sien, jy weet. Hy's 'n baie exciting speler.
Thank you, Jacques. Sorry, Adnan.
Nee, ek sê baie dankie.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jacques. Thank you, Eben. While we excuse you, I'll just give for our international audience just a very brief description of what Jacques and Eben was saying. Thank you very much, Jacques and Eben. You can make way for Faf and Lucanio. And like I said, ladies and gents, I'll just give you a brief summary. Jacques was asked about the workload, and he described how we go about and with the medical and conditioning staff in terms of spreading of looking at the workload, using obviously all the technology to his disposal. Eben said that Australia is have proven to be one of the teams in the professional era. And there will be a tough challenge come Saturday. Jacques was asked about Cheslin, and obviously Cebu coming in. Cebu that will bring something of his own in terms of his finishing quality, and at South Africa, the Springboks are blessed at this stage with a very good pool of players. Right, I see that Faf and Lucanio is in place, and we will start shortly with them for the next couple of minutes. And there's a question from Brendan Nell. Is there embargo for the two players? Yes, Brendan. Lucanio, for you, his quotes will be available to be used on Tuesday, and Faf obviously on Friday. Thank you. Right, let's get underway. Tinus van Staden, to who's your first question?
Hi guys, I just want to ask Lucanio. I don't know if you are big on social media and things like that, but you've been getting a lot of praise for your form the last few months, and also one of the things was that in the second test against Argentina, you somehow saved the try. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to, when you sort of snatched the ball out of the guy's hand. Firstly, just want to know, can you describe to us what happened there? And the second thing is, what do you make of all the praise that you've been getting?
He's on social media the whole time. Just looking at the videos.
Yeah, I think ever since we started the camp in Bloom, for us we've been taking away the opportunity to play for the country. So it's been really good since we're back and playing test matches again. I think my role in the team is definitely to bring my best at all times. I think we've managed as a team to take from where we finished, or the last time we played, which was the World Cup. So we in very good spirits as a team, and I think that gives opportunities for each and every individual to showcase their performances. Back to the Argentina interception. I was actually lucky poorly closed it because that guy was gassing me on the outside. So I got in between the passing channel for the guy that was meant to be catching the ball, and I think that's what made him fumble the ball a bit. And while he was fumbling or going for the second attempt, that's when I snatched it. I don't know, it's work rate and luck that I was in the right position at the right time.
Thank you, Luki. Right, our next question will go to Tony Harper.
Thank you. Question for Faf. Obviously, it's been a brutal few weeks for the Wallabies. They've done it tough against the All Blacks. I firstly want to ask how you kind of expect that to shape how they'll come out against you, but also ask you about Tate McDermott, who's a relative newcomer, obviously, to this scene, and what your impressions of him have been, and what were your kind of initial thoughts of his introduction to Test rugby?
Hi Tony. I think we're under no illusion of what a great side Australia is. Having watched those games, seeing how close they are to actually winning those games. If a few things went their way, a few passes stuck, maybe it could have been a different result. And from personal experience playing over here, it's always unbelievably tough. It's always a massive physical challenge. And especially now, the way Australia's playing these days, trying to almost run you off your feet is going to be a massive challenge for us defensively. So I think it's going to be a massive challenge, and I think they're going to come out. They're a bunch of proud guys in a proud country, and they're going to come out with everything they have. We're under no illusion that we're not going to get the best out of them, and we know if we don't bring our best, we're probably going to get a hiding in this game. And then just on McDermott, I think he's a great, exciting young player. He's really threatening around the rucks, and he's a good player to watch. I think that's sort of the 9 that Australia wants now. They want a guy that's really threatening, and even Nick White backing him up. Massive challenges there for us on defence. Yeah, excited to see how he can grow and improve on his gameplay.
Thank you, Faf. Thank you, Tony. Right, our next question will come from Sibusiso.
Hi, thanks, Ray. I'll ask one in English now and in Xhosa later as well, if you will allow, please, Ray.
Sure, go ahead. Thank you very much.
English questions for Lucanio. Hi, Lucanio. My question is just about your partnership, which has been talked about quite a bit now with Damien. For you, where would you see you guys improve, for one? And secondly, where would you rank your understanding and your way of playing in comparison to some of the best centre partnerships of the past? And what do you take from the best centre partnerships that South Africa has ever had in that position, which is quite crucial?
Okay, so quite a few questions there. Okay, I'll start with the last question. I think in South Africa, I think we've been blessed on having great players, especially centres in the back line, to be specific. So I think our generation, we're taking over, that responsibility. I think we're fairly doing a good job, and we definitely strive to do better and improve at all times. And I think I've played with Dukes now for just over 2 years, and I think over the years and the test matches that we played together, I've gained a bit of experience, and we got to kind of learn and feed off each other. And I think that's one of the key things, and we try to give us the best that we can towards the team, and it's really working well, because I think as a team we're really aligned, and we know what we're good at, and at all times we know what we need to work on. So we're always keeping ourselves on our toes.
Thank you, Luki. Right, we circle back to Ken Boland.
Thanks, Ron. If I may just ask one question for each of you. Lucanio, there are a couple of experienced players in that Australian backline, but generally there are also some pretty new guys. As someone who's come through that experience of being new in Test rugby and has now established himself as one of the world's best, how hard is it? How hard is a Test match when you're first starting out as a new player, just to deal with all the challenges? And then for Faf, just what are you hoping to bring yourself personally on your comeback on Sunday?
Okay, I think as a new player coming into Test match rugby, there's definitely a huge step, comparing it to local competitions or franchise rugby. For me, it was really nice coming into a group where there was a lot of experienced players around me, which made my job relatively easy, and gaining as much experience that I could, from training camps into test matches, and the shared responsibility in the group kind of gave me all the bits and pieces of experience that I've learned this far. So with Australia, I think they've got fairly a balanced side where there's guys experienced and there's a couple of new guys in the group. But it means nothing, in a way. I think you can never underestimate your opponents or use that against them. I think Australia, the side that are currently playing very good rugby. It's just unfortunate for them they haven't been getting the results. So yeah, from our side, we're preparing as much as we can to try to come tops this weekend.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Faf. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Just what I'd like to bring this weekend is obviously, I think, just the game management aspect of it. Deciding when to have a go and when to take them on aerially, speed up the game or slow it down. Just that control that I need to bring this weekend, and then obviously just my basics around my kicking game, my passing game, just feeding the team, giving them great front foot ball, making sure we get go forward, and yeah, that's about it. And if I can score a try, that would always be nice.
Right, thank you. We're going to wrap up with a question, I assume, from Percy to Faf, and then Sabu again to Lucanio. So let's start with Lucanio and Sabu.
Molo futhi ndoda kuthi Lucanio ungoyika uthetha isiXhosa apho eBrisbane. Umbuzo wami kulomba we-Wallabies into yokuba nizibona njani kulo mjikelo uzayo we-Rugby Championship. Lukhona uxhalabo lokuba amabhokobhoko angalithathela phantsi eli qembu le-Wallabies ngenxa yezi results zabo nama-All Black. Nina yintoni eniyithethayo, yintoni eniyenzayo apha etimini yokwenza uba ningayithatheli phantsi le team ye-Wallabies kule weekend?
Okay, lo mdlalo siyazi umkhulu kakhulu futhi, and i-team ye-Wallabies siyawubona umdlalo odlalayo, ngumdlalo omhle kakhulu. I think uba unobukela igame abazidlalileyo babethwa ngenxa yeziphoso zabo. So ayo-team le unoyijongela phantsi. I-team ekumele uzimisele, uqiniseke nawe uba uzazimisela kunangangoko, okanye uba uzimiselanga i-team enokutywatyusha. So kule veki ke nakule idlulileyo besizama uzilungiselela for le game yale mpelaveki, kunangangoko sikwazi ngayo, ngoba i-team ye-Wallabies ke unojonga ngemva, i-team esisokolayo uyibetha xa silapha sidlalela kokwayo. So akho nento incinci apha kuthi endelelo, siyayazi apha izawuba ludabi kule weekend.
Thank you, Sabu. Thank you, Luki. Right, Percy, you're up next. Final question. Thank you.
Ek sê vir baie dankie Rian. Faf, welkom, goeienaand. Faf, kan ek net vanaand vrae vanaand? Ek het vir Eben Etzebeth 'n soortgelyke vraag gevra. Kan ons as Afrikaanse ondersteuners, kan julle as die Springbokke net verwag om Sondag op te dag en net punte te gaan optel daar teen Australië? Ek weet Australië het die afgelope paar seisoene hulle uitdagings gehad, maar ons het ook die afgelope Sondag gesien teen die All Blacks dat in die tweede helfte as jy afskakel, kan daai span jou nogal redelik seermaak as hulle tyd het.
Ja, ek dink jy het alles gesê daarso. Ek dink obviously as ons kyk na die tellings, het dit nie altyd so goed gegaan nie, maar die manier hoe hulle speel, ja, as jy nie 100% daar gaan wees nie, soos jy sê, as jy gaan afskakel, gaan jy definitief 14, 21 punte vinnig agter wees sonder dat jy as jy oë uitvee. Hulle is so 'n tipe span wat baie drie kan druk. So ons verdediging gaan definitief getoets word. So ons kan op geen oomblik dink dat ons gaan opdaag en net punte gaan haal nie. As ons nie gaan reg vir daai wedstryd nie, gaan ons definitief, kan ons miskien sleg tweede kom in daai wedstryd. So ek dink ons baie gepraat oor dit hierdie week, en ek dink die ouens is definitief op die stadium reg vir wat voor lê. Ons het geen indruk dat dit maklik gaan wees nie. Ek weet persoonlik hoe moeilik dit nog elke jaar was om my meeting te speel. Is altyd 'n helse fisiese battle. So ja, ek kyk uit daarna. Ek dink dit gaan 'n great toets wees vir ons verdediging veral, en hoe ons die game kan manage. So ja, ek dink dit is wat jy gesê het, maar mooi opgesom eintlik.
Thank you, Percy. Thank you, Lucanio. Thank you, Faf. Ladies and gents, that then brings to an end our team announcement here from Brisbane. And our next media engagement then will be the captain's press conference on Saturday for the match on Sunday. Thank you very much. Just a reminder that Lucanio's quotes are embargoed for Thursday and Faf's for Friday. Thank you very much and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.